Peace and love, black family. It's Dr. Umar Johnson. I think this is the fourth or fifth time we tried to make this thing happen the right way. We can't give up. Revolutionary Pan-African nationalists, we don't give up. Okay, so we're gonna try to get this done so I can hop in the shower and get on over to the church for tonight's Nat Turner versus Donald Trump presentation. So here we go again. Fourth or fifth time, Facebook shut me down. So we're going to try to make it happen. Okay, let's pick up where we were. Parents, always exercise your right to review your child's psychological evaluation report before you go to the school to review the report with the school team. Let me say this again. Never walk into a psychological evaluation review meeting if you have not first read and reviewed the evaluation yourself. That's right. When the school calls you and says, we would like to go over Prince Ifatunde's psychological evaluation, can you come in next Friday? Your response should be, no, I cannot come in next Friday because I want at least a week to review the report so I can be prepared with questions before we meet together. See, what y'all have to understand, there's no way you can be prepared with questions if you haven't been given an opportunity to review the report. Let me say this again. How can you ask insightful questions? How can you ask critical questions about your child's psychological evaluation report if you haven't had a chance to see it? So the school done already saw it. The principal read it, the teacher read it, everyone read it but you. So you're sitting around a table full of white folks, and you're the only person who has not read the psychological evaluation report. Do you understand? You are ill prepared, and you never go into battle when you are ill prepared. You never go into battle when you are ill prepared, okay? So when they call you to schedule the psychological evaluation review meeting, okay, this also includes parents whose children are already in special education. Even if your child is already in special education, you still need to review the paperwork. A lot of you special ed parents think that since your kid is already in special ed jail, you don't need to take the IEP seriously, you don't need to take the psychological reevaluation seriously, and that's not good, okay? You should always take your child's education seriously, okay? So tell them you want a week to review the report. Legally, you can have 10 days. Okay? Legally, you can have 10 days. But the school can also ask you to waive your right to review the report. Let me say this again. Special ed law. The school can have you sign a waiver that you do not wish to review your child's psychological evaluation before you review it with the team or before the IEP meeting. Can I ask you a question? Why would you waive your right to review your child's psychological evaluation before the IEP meeting? Does that make any sense? If you're a good parent who cares about your children, and I'm sure you all are and all do, why would you waive your right to review your child's evaluation before you go into the IEP meeting? That doesn't make any sense. But a lot of you guys do it all the time. Never waive your rights to anything. We ain't got no rights to begin with. You giving away rights you ain't even got. Stop signing waivers. I don't care what the waiver is for. Do not sign a waiver. Don't sign a waiver when you go to court. Don't sign a waiver with the lawyer. Don't sign a waiver at the special ed meeting. Don't sign a waiver with Donald Trump. Don't sign a waiver with nobody. Do you understand? Okay. Always review, go over it. And then if you have some questions about the report, what should you do before you even go to the meeting? You call in to Dr. Umar Johnson's Tuesday morning Black Parent Teleconference. You call into Dr. Umar Johnson's Tuesday morning Black Parent Teleconference, right? And then you can ask me all the questions you want, or you can pay $50 and I will review the report one-on-one with you over the phone as long as we need to till you get it right, okay? So you can always be prepared. Always be prepared. Not to mention, you also need to read Psychoacademic Holocaust. Okay? So, okay, what are the different sections? What did I say previously on the cutoff video? If the report is 20 pages or longer, there's a strong chance that the psychologist did not type the report, the computer typed the report. You don't want your child being diagnosed by a computer program. But I can tell you a lot of psychologists diagnose the reports, diagnose children by the computer program. You don't let the computer. And you can always tell when the computer did the diagnosis because the report will be real thick. And this is how you can get the psychologist. This is how you catch the psychologist in a lie. So you ask the psychologist, did you type this report or did the computer type this report? Who interpreted the data and made the determination that my child is learning disabled? Who interpreted the data or made the determination that my child is learning disabled? Did you interpret the data and make the determination that my child is learning disabled? Or did your computer interpret the data and make the determination that my child was learning disabled? This is very, very important. You don't want your child being diagnosed by a machine. You want your child diagnosed by a man or a woman, and preferably a black man or a black woman. And you guys know that you can always contact the Association of Black Psychologists. You can always contact the Association of Black Psychologists. You can email me for the email address, a phone number. Okay, the president of the Association of Black Psychologists, a very good elder of mine, Dr. Washington, Dr. Kevin Washington, down in Washington, D.C. Shout out to Washington, D.C. I will see you guys on Sunday, December the 4th, Washington, D.C. I will see you on Sunday, December the 4th at the Thurgood Marshall Center. Dr. Umar Johnson will be speaking in Washington, D.C. in the first time for 2 years. We can only sell 380 tickets. It'll be up on Eventbrite soon. We're going to talk about this whole black reality that we're about to walk into in 2017. So Washington, D.C. Okay, my Washington State, I've been trying to find a Seattle venue. No luck. Washington State, I've been trying. Indianapolis, I was going to come to Indianapolis the first day of Kwanzaa, Monday, December 26th, but I found out that the elders of Indianapolis have their Kwanzaa program on Monday, December the 26th, so I don't want to conflict or undermine the elders, so I won't be coming to Indianapolis for Kwanzaa. I tried, okay? But I'll still get back to you guys. I'm just going to work on it. I'm just going to work on it, okay? Greenville tickets, $10 if you get them online, $10, okay? At the door, $20. We got a school to build. We got a repatriation task force. We got the Unapologetically African magazine. We got the Black College and Consciousness Tour coming up. We got the Adult College and Consciousness Tour. That's right, brothers and sisters. For all of y'all who saw the Black College Tour last year on the live streams on my Facebook, I'm going to do an adult trip just for the adults. We're going to do the North Tour just for the adults. I'm looking at March. So for everybody who's over the age of 18 and you want to go on a College and Consciousness Tour because you never been to Howard, you never been to Hampton, you never been to Dell State, you never been to Cheney, and you want to learn that black history of the black colleges. Some of you guys might be 25. You want to go back to college. You want to know what opportunities are there for non-traditional students. Okay, so we're going to be doing a college tour. Okay, we're going to do half brothers and half sisters. Okay, I can't have a bus full of sisters because you know the whole Tepper is going to start hating on me if I got a bus full of sisters. So we're going to do half brothers and half sisters, but there will be no haters on my bus. No haters. If you ever hated, you're not coming. Don't sign up because you will not get on my bus. I don't do haters. I don't like people around me who don't like me. I respect your right not to like me, but you will not occupy my space if you're a hater. That will never happen. Okay. So make sure you review the evaluation. You can always ask Dr. Umar Johnson some questions about it. The Tuesday morning conference call. You can email me the questions. You can get a private consultation. Of course, you can always read Psychoacademic Holocaust. So what are the different sections of the psychological evaluation? No, I have not found my wives yet, Margaret. I haven't found my wife. Some, good perspectives out there, but not married yet. Okay, 2 wives. Prince of Pan-Africanism, 2 wives. Anyhow, the sections of the evaluation. Number 1, the purpose of the evaluation. What is the purpose? Every evaluation should have a purpose. The purpose. Why is your child being... This child is being evaluated at parent requests due to suspicions of a learning disability. This child is being evaluated at teacher requests due to the teacher's observations that the child might be autistic. This child is being re-evaluated as part of the 3-year federally mandated reevaluations for all children with a disability. You must have a purpose of the eval. If I don't know why I'm testing a kid, what am I looking for? I need to know the purpose of the eval. So the first thing you should see, okay? Well, one wife might work. If I find that one wife who know how to keep her mouth shut, don't put my business out, okay, who can stay in the background, not thirsty for the limelight, because a lot of y'all sisters, y'all just want the limelight. Y'all not there to support the brother. You just want to be all, Hollywood. I ain't looking for no Hollywood. But let me get back on topic, okay? Purpose of the eval. I need to know what the purpose of the evaluation is, okay? Review of the record. So purpose of the evaluation. And then you have the review of the record. The review of the record says that Dr. Umar Johnson looked at your child's academic folder. Okay, I looked at the reports that the parent had. I looked at attendance. I looked at suspensions. I looked at test scores. I looked at report card grades. I looked at notes home. Review of the record. That gives us the context. The review of the record gives us a psychological context. What am I dealing with? What has this child been through? So if the psychologist hasn't reviewed the record, then how does he put his findings, or how does she put their findings in the appropriate context? You have to review the record. Do you understand? Okay. So then after you review the record, you interview the parent. I want to talk to you. Why do you want your child tested? Or why did you let them test your child? And see, interviewing the parent gives you a lot of good information, because when I interview the parent, I might find out that this kid was out of school for a year. That changes things. I might find out that this kid was locked in a trunk, God forbid, for 2 hours, and he suffered psychological trauma. That changes things. When I talk to the parent, I might find out that the daddy is locked up. I might find out that the kid is a foster parent. I might find out that the parents left him on a doorstep. I might find out he was sexually abused. So I need that interview with the parent, with the primary caregiver, so I know what's going on with the child. You understand? This is very, very important. Very, 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 very important. You understand? To interview that parent. You got me? So then, after I interview the parent, I then want to interview the teacher or teachers. Okay? Now, here's my problem with the teachers. Y'all know what Dr. Umar problem with the teachers? A lot of them is lazy. They ain't got no time for me to sit down and interview them. So then I have a teacher questionnaire, because I know a lot of teachers are busy. Not all teachers are lazy. They are overworked. But then we got some trifling lazy teachers, both black and white. So what I tell the teacher is, I need you to tell me what you see in your class with your own 2 eyes. How can I make an effective determination about this child when you're not telling me whether you have a problem? If the parent thinks the kid is reading disabled and you just think the kid is lazy, I need to know that. I need to know that. If you think the kid got a learning disability and a parent don't think nothing wrong with the kid, I need to know that. If the kid come to school late every day, I need to know that. If he hookies class, I need to know that. If he sleeps, I need to know. The teachers can see things that I won't see when I evaluate the kid, because I'm only going to spend a day or two with that child. A day or two, 48 hours max. The teacher is with that child all day, every day. The parent birthed that child. The parent carried that child. So there's no way I can make an effective determination without talking to the parent and the teacher. So I'm telling you, parents, stop letting psychologists diagnose your child without talking to you. If you get a psychological evaluation and the psychologist did not talk to you, you should give the evaluation back. Give it back. How can you make a determination about my child and you never even spoke to me? Do you feel me? Getting a little thirsty over here. Get me a little juice. Okay. Prince of Pan-Africanism, get thirsty sometimes, you know. It's not easy being me. I got to deal with hoteppers. Got an email yesterday. Somebody want to know where I graduated from now. How many times have I said that information? Do I got to spend the rest of my life telling people where I graduated from? Really? I got to keep going through this stuff. That's how this is going to go. Okay. I've already answered that question. All right. Okay. But you know what the bigger question is? I'm the only one in my age group in the conscious community with a doctorate degree. Nobody else get no questions about why they ain't got a degree. But I get a question of where I got my degree. Ain't that crazy? Not bad. Simply orange. Okay, I need one of you vegetarians to hook me up with one of them green smoothies, okay? Put some of that put some dates in it because the dates are sweet. It tastes a little bit better, okay? Now, you're right. The psychologist should always talk to the parent. But let me say this. In defense of psychologists, let me say this. I just talked about teachers who don't care to talk to the psychologist. Some teachers don't care. Guess what? Some parents don't care. I've called parents up. This is Dr. Umar Johnson from such and such school. I would need to ask you a couple questions about your child. This should only take about 10 minutes. Do you have a little bit of time just so you can give me some background information? Was your child born of a full-term healthy pregnancy? Did your child ever require any hospitalizations? Has there ever been any surgeries? Does your child take any regular ongoing medications? Did your child begin crawling on time? Did they begin walking on time? Did they begin talking on time? What about potty training? Did your child begin potty training at the right time? What about socialization? How well does your child get along with other children? Has there ever been any bullying in your child's life? Okay, has he ever been separated from either caregiver for a significant amount of time? Okay, exactly when did you notice that your child's behavior began to make a turn for the worse? When did you notice that your child began to struggle academically? These are some of the questions that I ask, but some parents don't want to talk. I'm too busy. Leave me alone. I done already told the school what they need to know. Excuse me? Excuse me? I'm given the responsibility of determining whether or not your child is going to be put in special ed where they may never graduate or may end up in jail, and you don't even want to talk to me, you trifling, filthy Negro parent? Really? Oh, yeah, so I can't blame the psychologist. If the teacher don't want to talk and the parent don't want to talk, there's nothing you can do. Okay, so yeah, purpose of evaluation, review of the record, interview the parent, interview the teacher or teachers, okay? And then the next is observation. Two types of observations. You observe the child in the class where the alleged disability is taking place. And then you also observe the child while you evaluate the child. Now, I'm going to say this, though, in defense of psychologists. Evaluating a child in the classroom during instruction, in my opinion, does not yield a lot of useful information unless it's a behavior problem. If we're looking at emotional disturbance, ADHD, conduct disorder, yes, the observation is externalizing. So observing a kid in the class can give you a lot of good information. But if we're talking about a learning disability, me just watching the child receive instruction, that ain't helping. So that ain't really big on my list. What I do get a lot of information from is when I observe the child, when I'm testing the child. That one-on-one observation is key because that gives me insight into how the child approaches their problems and how they solve their problems. That is the most powerful and important thing for me right there. Okay? So you do your observation. After you do your observation, you now do your testing. Achievement tests, IQ tests. Okay, now a basic psychological assessment is going to have an IQ test. That's when you do intelligence test. Achievement battery, that's when you do the reading and the math and the writing, all the academic stuff. A visual motor assessment to make sure the child doesn't have any occupational motor issues. An adaptive behavior assessment to make sure the child is adaptively developing appropriately in terms of communication skills, socialization skills, self-help skills, okay, community navigation skills. Of course, you need adaptive behavior assessment to determine if a child is intellectually disabled or mentally retarded. Okay, you cannot diagnose a kid as intellectually disabled purely off the IQ score alone. So you do all your tests, right? And then what is at the end? At the end of the evaluation is conclusions, determinations, impressions, recommendations. And these can go in a different order. Some psychologists don't use all of the words. I say conclusions and recommendations. Some psychologists say impressions and conclusions. Some psychologists say determination and recommendations. But there's normally two more sections: a determination or conclusion, and then a recommendation and impressions. Determinations and conclusions, or recommendations and impressions. This is what we say. Based on the information gathered in this evaluation, according to federal special ed law and state of Pennsylvania code, state of Michigan code, state of New York code, state of Texas code, state of North Carolina code, I have determined that this child meets the definition of a child with a learning disability in reading comprehension. Notice what I said. What did I say? Did I say the child have a reading disability? I said the child meets the definition for a reading disability. Did y'all see that? Why do we word the reports like that? Why doesn't the report just say this child has a reading disability? The report don't say that. The report says this child meets criteria for a kid with a learning disability. This child meets the definition of a child with a learning disability. Do you know why we say that? Why do we say that? We say that because, as I always say when I talk and with these tutorials, you cannot prove a learning disability, right? Okay? I look better than Kevin Durant. Shout out to Kevin Durant. Okay? You cannot prove a learning disability. Okay? So you don't say the child has a learning disability. You say that the child meets criteria for a learning disability, or you say the child meets the definition of a learning disability. Do you understand? That's why the language. So when you said my child has a reading disability. No, we say, I didn't say your child has a reading disability. I said your child meets the criteria for a child with a reading disability. Your child, okay, meets the definition of a child with a learning disability. As psychologists, we only deal in probabilities. As psychologists, we deal in probabilities. We cannot deal in definitives because we cannot definitively prove these diagnoses. So you definitely have to look at the wording of the report. Now, this is where you come in. When you read the conclusion or determination on your child's psychological evaluation report, do you agree with the logic of the psychologist? Do you agree with the logic of the psychologist? Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you is what I'm asking you. Does it make sense? Okay? You really say, this don't make sense. Then I probably need to take a look at it, or another black psychologist, because I'm not the only one out there fighting for our kids. Okay? But that's the most important thing. Does it make sense to you? Which is why you can let me look at it and I read it and I say, this don't make sense. They said your child is retarded because he got a 65 IQ. Well, the law says you can't determine that a kid is intellectually disabled purely off the IQ score. There must also be evidence of an adaptive behavior impairment. You understand? So I would tell you, logically, this don't make sense. Does it mean the kid was misdiagnosed? No, because I did not meet your child. But based on the logic of the report, it definitely sounds suspicious. That's why you have to read the report. A lot of you parents never read the report. You have to read it to make sure it makes sense. And guess what? Let me tell you another little secret. Let's say you read the report and you find another child's name in your child's report. Let's say you read the report and you find another child's name in your child's report. How did that happen? Your son's name is Raheem, but the report got Taekwon. Why is Taekwon's name in Raheem's report? You want to know why Taekwon's name is in Raheem's report? Because some of these psychologists are so trifling. When they find a kid who's very similar to another kid that they evaluated, guess what they do? Guess what they do? They take the other kid's report, put your child's name on it, and print it out and give it to you. They never even typed a separate report for your child. I've seen white folks do this for years and never get in trouble. So if you see another kid's name in your child's report, then guess what? You better look at that report with some suspicion, because it sounds like they took another kid's report, changed some names, put your kid name on it, and gave it to you. You better be on the lookout for that. You better be on the lookout for that. Okay? Now, let me give you something else that you need to be careful of. The other thing Hope my juice is fresh. The other thing, at the last, okay, page of the evaluation, this should be a test and measurements page. A test and measurements page. This is a page where the scores are listed. Make sure your child's scores are listed. If the scores are not listed, then guess what? There's a strong chance that they never tested your kid or never finished the testing. Some psychologists will tell you, well, I don't include the scores because parents don't understand them. That's nonsense, okay? I can teach you how to understand those scores in 10 minutes. Don't fall for that. Go to the end of that psychological evaluation report. Is there a page of score? Do you see the IQ test with the scores? Do you see the reading test with the scores? Do you see the adaptive behavior measurement with the scores? You always want the scores, because if you ain't got the scores, how can we look at that report and determine whether or not the report is accurate based on the scores? Make sure they report your child's scores. And if they say we don't do that, tell them it's not up to you. I'm the parent, and I have a right to my child's scores, and I want the scores. If you get a report without the scores, then you should give the report back. Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay? So basically, that's just a quick overview. Thank God we finally got through it. Okay, it wasn't as long as it was going to be, but I don't know when Facebook going to shut me down again. So if this is your first time watching this video, I got 2 previous videos that I just did a few minutes before this one. So just go down my Facebook feed and watch the other 2 in case I left out some information on this third one, because I had to try to attempt this tutorial like 4 or 5 times because they kept on shutting me down. Guess they let me know it's a new boss in the White House. Okay, so that's just a basic overview. Just to recap, parents, review the report before you go to the meeting. Make sure the school gives you the report before you go to the meeting. Okay. Number 2, read the report thoroughly with a highlighter or an ink pen. Okay. Putting question marks and notes where you might have some questions. Okay. Take note if another child's name is in your child's report. Okay. Number 4, be very, very careful if the report is more than 15 to 20 pages. Be very, very careful. Dr. Umar Johnson, my reports are not longer than 10 pages. First of all, you don't need a book. You need to try to find out what's going on with your kid. I've had people come to me and say, Dr. Johnson, your report is only 7 pages. This report that the white psychologist did was 30 pages. I said, I know, because they used the computer and I used my mind. You're one of those people who think more is better. More is not better. It's about the quality over the quantity. If you want the machine to diagnose your kid, then go right ahead. But Dr. Umar Johnson don't play that. Okay? So also you want to look at the conclusions and impressions page. Make sure you agree with the logic of the report. Make sure you look at the conclusions and impressions page. Make sure you agree with the logic of the report. Okay, that's going to be very, very important. Make sure the test and measurements page is at the back of the report. Make sure the test and measurements page is at the back of the report. If the psychologist did not interview you, give the report back. If the psychologist did not get information from the teacher, give the report back. Now, sometimes you can't interview the parent or the teacher, but they can fill out an input form, parent input, teacher input. As long as they fill out the input form, that's almost, it's not as good as an interview. It's not as good, but it is better than nothing. So if the parent filled out an input report, or if the teacher filled out an input report, that would also be acceptable. Not as good as the face-to-face interview, but in these fast times, the interview can be better. Okay? Make sure the psychologist review the record. Make sure the psychologist look at all previous evaluations from your child. I want to see everything. I want to see the medical reports, previous evals. Okay, I want to see it all. The problem is a lot of you parents don't have it all. You ain't got the reports. You ain't got the IEPs. You're disorganized. That's how you can tell if you value your child's education. Parents who value their children's education, they got that stuff organized. They got binders and books and libraries. Parents who don't care about their kids' education, it's not that very organized, okay? So this is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Just wanted to run through these things. South Carolina tonight. I'm speaking Greenville. Come through. Tickets available at the door. All Students who attend historically black colleges and universities, if you attend a historically black college and university, you get in free tonight, but you have to have your ID. Okay, if you do not attend historically black college and university, you have to pay. Okay, because I support HBCUs. You understand me? All right, so you got to pay. I'm sure you don't mind because the money is going to the fundraiser, the money is going to the college tour. You understand, the money going to a good purpose. All right, but we supporting HBCUs around these parts. We want to increase the enrollment at historically black colleges. Shout out to all the alumni at the historically black colleges. I really want to do something with the historically black colleges to really try to up the enrollment and push. I think I could really help them. But of course, I'm so unapologetically African, and many of them value their relationships with white folks more than educating our kids. So I don't know how that's going to happen. But Virginia State University, I know we had to postpone, but Virginia State University, I will be coming back. They're going to let me know when. Bowie State, I'll be coming there soon. Morgan State, I will be there February the 22nd. Okay, Voorhees College. I spoke at Voorhees College. Yes, I spoke at Voorhees College a couple years ago. Wouldn't mind coming back. Founded by a young sister who passed on in her 30s. Shout out to Voorhees College. Okay, Garland. Garland, please get all your comments out now, Brother Garland, because I'm going to block you. You'll never post again on my page because you are a dusty, hotep, hating ass dude. Everybody take a look at Garland. Garland wants to be seen, so please look at Garland. Everybody look at Garland. He needs some attention. Self-esteem is kind of low. Please look at Garland. Everybody say hi to Garland. Garland needs attention. But anyhow, so yes. So we got South Carolina tonight. Doors open up at 4. Lecture from 6 to 9. Come get your Nat Turner t-shirt. Okay, definitely get your Nat Turner t-shirt. What else? Psychoacademic Holocaust. I'm going to talk about the presidential election tonight. I'll probably do a live feed on it later. I'm not going to do a live feed on it now because it's the lecture and I want y'all to come to the lecture. Okay, and then Washington, D.C., Thurgood Marshall Center, Sunday, December the 4th. Jacksonville, Florida. Long overdue. I will be back in Jacksonville, Florida on Wednesday, December the 28th. I will be in Detroit, Michigan, Motown. I'm coming back to Motown, Detroit, Friday, December the 30th for Detroit. Okay, Atlanta, Georgia, Shrine of the Black Madonna, New Year's Day, Sunday, January the 1st, 2017. And we're going to talk about new leadership for a new movement. You understand? New leadership for a new movement and a new black agenda. Hotlanta, Georgia, January the 1st, 2017. Make sure y'all donate to the fundraiser, please. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. You can also mail in your donations to payable to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19132. Resumes to fdmgresumes@gmail.com. Tickets for DC, tickets for Detroit, tickets for Atlanta, tickets for Jacksonville. I should have them up by the end of the week. Prince of Pan-Africanism.eventbrite.com. Prince of Pan-Africanism.eventbrite.com. If you're interested in requesting me to do an event, whether it's a black college community lecture, you can send your request to Dr. Umar Speaks at gmail.com or Dr. Umar Speaks at yahoo.com. I repeat, lecture requests should be directed to Dr. Umar Speaks at yahoo.com or Dr. Umar Speaks at gmail.com, or you can email it to me, Dr. Umar Johnson at yahoo.com, and I will go ahead and forward it on. February is about to fill up real quick. February is about to fill up real quick. So if you want me to come out to February, I know that's when I get hit with a lot of the colleges and universities. Colleges and universities, don't wait to the last minute. Some of y'all get mad at me every year because I cannot accommodate you. You need to get in contact with your Black Student Union, your student government, your director of student activities, and tell them we need to bring Dr. Umar Johnson for Black History, and we need to do it now. Okay, stop waiting to the last minute. I got an invite for FAMU. I'm just waiting to hear back. I got an invite for FAMU, so I should be coming to FAMU soon. Shout out. And I think FAMU is Tallahassee, right? I think it's Tallahassee. I've never been to Tallahassee before. I've never been to Tallahassee, Florida before. Seattle, I need a venue. It looks like we might get Kansas City, Kansas. We're looking at Kansas City, Kansas, the first day of Kwanzaa, Monday, December the 26th. So we're working on Kansas City, Kansas, okay? So y'all know how to get at me, 8444 Dr. Umar, the number again, 8444-DRUMAR. You can hit me on a text, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Yes, my brother, almost forgot. Queens, New York, Sunday, December the 11th. Queens, New York, Jamaica, Queens, shout out. Okay, I'll be in Queens, New York, Sunday, December the 11th. Okay, and I will be in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Shout out to Dirty Jersey, Elizabeth, New Jersey, on Saturday, December the 10th. I'm trying to work on Charlotte. Okay, trying to work on Charlotte. We're trying to get that Charlotte thing popping. Okay, so we're trying to get that Charlotte thing popping right now. Okay, so, fam. Keep me in your prayers. Good talking to everybody. Prince of Pan-Africanism. I do this because I love you. I love our children. You know what I mean? And I'm just thankful to the Most High that she put me in this position. Thankful to the ancestors. But we bigging up Nat Turner today. Today and tomorrow, Nat Turner Day. Nat Turner was executed tomorrow, 185 years ago, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So tomorrow, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., pour out some libation for Nat Turner. He was executed on November the 11th, 1831, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. If you're going to forget or you can't do it because you're going to be at work, then tonight at midnight, make sure you pour out some libation to Nat Turner between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., 11/11. I wish I was at Nat Turner land because I would love to go and pour libation at the site of the lynching, the site of the hanging on November 11th. In fact, that's what we're going to do next year. Next year, we're going to go to Nat Turner land on 11/11, and that's what we're going to do. More information will be coming about the Black College and Consciousness Tour. More information will be coming about the Repatriation Task Force. More information will be coming about FDMG. More information will be coming about all the things that I'm working on. So stay with your boy, Prince of Pan-Africanism, Race First Renegade, most requested scholar. It's revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. Nothing else works. Nothing else I care about. I'm African, proud to be African. I don't want to be what you want to call yourself. I am black. I know who I am. I don't want your religion. I don't want your ideology. I don't want none of that. You understand me? This is Race First Renegades, Marcus Garvey Gangbangers, Pan-Africanism of Paris. Peace and love, black family.